I would like to remind everyone that this show is brought to you by the Dolphin Wars.
Antiderivative, Jill.
Hello and welcome. I am Antiderivative Jill. I want to welcome you to my very first interview show here on King Dolphin TV for the King Dolphin himself, Raymond Feliciano, who has completed an absolutely incredible feat of writing and publishing not one or two, but 3 novels as of now for his Dolphin War trilogy series. And I'm so happy to have the honor to be able to ask him some questions about his work today. I also want to say that since his book series is now a complete trilogy, there's no better time than now to buy the complete trilogy and maybe even also get it signed. Is it available in such a format yet?
Yes, it is. And welcome to the chat. Yes, I've got paperbacks, and what you can do is you can go to the dolphinwars.com website and email me. There's a way you can email me, and we can arrange for an autographed copy to go get to you.
Well, that's super awesome. Remember the dolphinwars.com, because I kept going to dolphinwars.com and that doesn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so that's good. And so this is my first interview. So, Snortapoopus Cuber says, make that dolphin sweat. Do dolphins sweat? Well, put him on the hot seat and grill away. I don't want to think about grilled dolphin. Wait a minute. Okay.
No. Naughty.
Well, please tell us about yourself outside of writing.
What was that?
Oh, right. And you want to say hello to the chat. Hello to Legatus Leechnai. Great to see you here. And also to, of course, Snortapoopus Cuber, as he said. John Rendell is also here. And Maddie's daddy, Stephen Mitchell. Hooray.
Yes. And we have on joining us as a guest the newest part of Team Dolphin Wars is Graceli Kaye. I asked her to come on to chat with us.
Hi. Oh yeah, definitely. There were many people who helped make this most recent installment of the Dolphin Wars trilogy possible, and she is one.
Yep. So,
very cool.
I am honored to be interviewed for your first interview. I am looking forward to the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, definitely. First formal interview. So, you ready to get started?
I am absolutely ready.
Okay, great. Please tell us about yourself outside of writing.
Well, outside of writing, as everybody knows, I was in the Air Force. Between the Air Force and the National Guard, I've completed my 20 years. I've bopped around in various and sundry jobs. I work in the teaching environment. I am a training support person.
I do know that Sandra teaches flying. You teach too? Do you teach something different?
I teach something different, and Sandra is a flight instructor.
Awesome. What made you decide to write?
I have wanted to write, well, back when I was in high school. I've been a science fiction nerd since pretty much the day I was born. According to my mom, rest her soul, she said the first words out of my mouth were astronaut. So I had the nerd bug from an early age.
That's incredible that your first word was a 3-syllable one.
Yeah.
How crazy.
I date myself, but yes, I saw Star Trek first run NBC.
So you're born with the phaser and a communicator.
I was born with a phaser and a communicator. So that's always been in my blood. Where I really wanted to start writing is in my later years in high school. I saw the magnificent Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica, and decided to start writing pretty much right after I got out of high school. And my first manuscript was written on a old clunky typewriter that my ex-mother-in-law had.
And not even a electronic typewriter, a real manual.
It was a clunky one, yes.
Wow.
So,
that's incredible. I've never really been in contact with the real typewriter, just the electronic ones when I was a kid.
Yeah. That's
pretty cool.
It was an experience. So and then various iterations, life got in the way. The book kept getting shoved in the back burner and rose up various and sundry times until about 2001. I decided to really hit and try and work out a book line, and it still took some time. I think about in 2010, I finally hit I had that light bulb moment that I was able to complete the book in a shape that I liked it 40 something years later.
Wow. Hey, are you really saying that parts of your book were conceived when you were still in high school?
Yes.
That is pretty sweet.
Yes.
And so you started imagining these kinds of things, these kinds of complicated things before you even became a pilot.
Yep. And then the book in the form that I wanted it at was completed in 2010. This was All's Fair, and then just trying to find a way to get it published. That was the toughest part. I went through at the time. Kindle was doing, you send a story in and quote unquote, if it's worth it, they will publish it for you. And
was this when Kindle was new?
This was when Kindle was new, yeah. So I tried that and it didn't work. And then I tried sending the publishers. And for a while there, it was pretty despairing that this was ever going to see the light of All's Fair was going to see the light of day.
So publishing was much more difficult at the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm. Much more difficult. And then I ran into Doomcock, and Hail Doomcock, and I asked him because he's mentioned some authors and stuff like that. I asked him, hey, Doomcock, what can I do to get my book out there and not break the bank and just not get rejected? And then he told me about the way that Kindle was doing it now. So I went, and I'm a skeptic. I always believe that if something is too good to be true, it usually is. And so I did my research. I talked to them. I was actually able to get a human being, which is strange.
Oh, at Amazon? That is incredible.
Yeah. So they pretty much convinced me that this is at least worthwhile. It's going to be an expensive proposition, but at least I get the book out there. and people can start reading it and then make their own decisions on whether they like it or not. So I did it. All's Fair came out in March of 2020, and it was a case of a love-hate relationship with Kindle. Graceli could agree, will attest to that when you're dealing with Kindle, it's a love-hate relationship, right?
Yes, we put the book into the Kindle Create, and then we reformat, and then we format, and then we format.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
you're
it's
not
never
even
the way it is in your head.
My first, the first edition of All's Fair. I mean, it's great. It's great as an ebook. I mean, it's really, really great. But then the paperback, you actually have to have a magnifying glass, and then it took every chapter, it reset the page count. And I'm like, wow. So, but the story was more important. So I put it out there, and All's Fair is probably going to be redone as a second edition now that I've gotten Bloodfeud done. Now, right after, it was amazing. Once I hit that light bulb moment and was able to get All's Fair done and out of the way and done, and as I was going through the publishing part, Peacemaker started formulating in my head. I say that Peacemaker wrote itself. I mean, that's how much of a story I was able to gather from All's Fair. So
Wow.
Peacemaker was a much easier process after All's Fair. And then we get to Bloodfeud, which I'm sure we'll go into later. So, but that's the long process. That's the long version of how I started writing.
Well, I was going to ask how long you have been into science fiction, but you already answered that since the beginning of your life.
Yep. Yeah. My cousin, it was funny. My cousin, I saw her maybe in the 90s. She came to visit me. I had just built another version of the AMT Enterprise model. It was sitting on my entertainment stand. She saw it, and I said, "Yep, I haven't left it. I'm still a Trekker." And she said, "We tried to break you of that for a long time. Not gonna happen."
Yeah, I'm glad. That is good that didn't leave you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why anybody would want to get rid of that. That sounds wild.
Yeah, well, I came from a family, they preferred the old school Westerns and more reality stuff.
Well, show them Spectre of the Gun and a piece of the action.
Exactly.
I also want to say hello in the chat to Pudgy's Hedgehog Adventures and also Tony from Stark of Iron.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
So you told us about All's Fair and also Peacemaker. Could you please tell us about Bloodfeud?
Okay. Bloodfeud was, again, there were loose ends that I had out of Peacemaker that I wanted to tie up. And then, but they were coming out as short stories. They were coming out as short stories. There wasn't much of a coherence between the two. And then I hit a writer's block. I am trying to fight through this writer's block, and then I came to the conclusion. I actually did a first version of it, and then it was in editing, but the editor was involved with so many other things I couldn't. I was kind of on a roadblock, and then another light bulb moment hit me and said, okay, what, just do a total stop, start writing again, and somehow tie all three of these together.
Wait, are you saying you rewrote the entire thing?
Yes, I did. And that's why the meme behind me, that's how the meme behind me came to being. And on the splash page, the Bloodfeud is coming, and then so is Christmas, and then and it was just, I was thinking of myself as George R.R. Dolphin. That's how this is. This is how this book was just very moving at a snail's pace.
Well, people are still waiting for Winds of Winter. I don't think it's ever coming out.
No, I agree with you.
So you're not that bad.
No, I'm not that bad. So I finally put it all together, and I went back to my original editor. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. Michaela Hurd. She's working tonight, but she was able to pull it out at the very end, and then I begged Graceli to help me beat Kindle when it came to formatting. It was because I wanted this one to actually have. I mean, Peacemaker was much better, but I wanted this one to really, really look good.
Well, you know what they say: when you want something done, hire a very busy person, and you get it. And
well, go ahead.
So when you said that Amazon gave you trouble, I was worried that it was going to be about the money, but it was about the formatting. And Grace Haley helped you with that.
Yes,
Grace Kaye. Sorry.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. So she was a big help. And go ahead.
Yeah.
Jason.
That's what I'm thinking. So, Legatus Legion I says, so Graceli saved Bloodfeud. Hooray for Graceli.
I totally agree.
Formatting is an art. It's a pain when it's not working, but when it comes together, it makes everything worth it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sometimes some of the biggest problems is having to deal with software that isn't quite the way you wish it worked.
And Kindle is definitely very strange when with that. So.
And hello in the chat to Nighthawk. Great to see you.
Hi, Nighthawk.
So please tell us about the title.
Okay.
How it compares to All's Fair and Peacemaker.
Well, All's Fair is pretty much as it said, as in All's Fair in Love and War, because it is a war novel. Granted, it's a war novel in space, but it is a war novel. Peacemaker came up because one of the characters does end up being a peacemaker as in order to stop a vicious war. But Bloodfeud, it's a fitting title. Again, I'm using it to tie up loose ends, but it starts out as a feud, quote unquote, a blood feud between the former enemy, between a rogue faction of the enemies in Peacemaker and the Ando family. And then it morphed. It's still a blood feud, but it morphs into several different directions, all all based on events in Allsfair and Peacemaker. So it does tie in.
Oh, so all the remaining conflicts that were generated by the first two novels are satisfied, completed, come to some kind of resolution in Bloodfeud.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
really great. Okay, that's cool that you have a beginning and a middle and an end in each book, right? And this ties up everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been holding off on reading these books, this is the perfect time to read them.
Yeah.
Because all the questions will be answered, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's as all of my books, it does have twists, turns. That seems to be my modus operandi. I don't like straight paths where you know the answer before you know the answer eventually. No, I do it. I love doing plot twists. And
that's incredible because that means that you have a high respect for your audience, that you know that they're going to be following along, and so you're eventually it'll make sense, but it'll not be unexpected at the same time, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And also I want to say hello in the chat to Dalek451 and
Hi, Dalek.
Cobalt Bald Eagle, who says,
hello, Cobalt.
Then turns into war, then argument, then a misunderstanding, and back to war, and again to hoot and holler. It sounds like you know quite a bit about it.
Nah, there's only one beta reader in the audience. And of course, Graceli saw it when she did the formatting. I don't know how closely she read it, but
I tried not to read it too much since I haven't read the other two, so I didn't want to spoil anything, but I read enough to do some light editing while formatting for you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Oh, that is very considerate. That was like a bonus on top of the editing. Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of the formatting.
It's my OCD.
The editing.
I couldn't help myself.
Yep.
So you've already told us a bit about it, but the next question is, statement anyway. Tell us about the Dolphin Wars series. So is there something else from that series you want to share?
Sure. The story starts off with Jan Ando, who is you've ran into him when we've done our readings. I meant the prime character to be Jan Ando, who happens to be the son of Tran and Tanya Ando, and you've run into Tanya. You've played Tanya.
Yeah. Yes, I have. Everything I know from it is from all of our readings that we've done on this channel.
Right. As the story continued, I found that, a la Star Wars, the story kind of drifted away from Jan into a story about Tanya, because she is a very complicated character. She's my wife pretty much calls her a psychopath.
That sounds about right from the mother-son exchange that we had.
Right.
That painted her in a very bad light. So that's the first time that I realized her character was not as nice as she portrayed herself earlier.
Right. So Peacemaker took that, and Peacemaker took that and explained why she was that way. And then what I've meant to do with Bloodfeud is, I'd like to say it shows taking the you reap what you sow attitude. Like, she's not a nice person. She's never been a nice person. This goes more into the why, but also the consequences of what she's done
Yes.
in the grander scheme of what else happens with in Bloodfeud.
So the final book is all about the fallout from everything that's happened.
Yes. Yes.
So I suppose you already answered this question when this question here, how long did this work take you from conception to completion, as the first conception was in high school and then
Well, All's Fair was the longest. That one took the 40 years. Peacemaker took about a year, and Bloodfeud ran about 2 years. Bloodfeud was a 2-year project.
Yeah, it feels like you've made all of this in the past 5 years instead of 40 years. I don't really conceive that whole entire time. So during that whole entire time, what is your writing process?
Well, I don't. I actually write probably closer to Graceli style, as in I don't storyboard everything. I don't write plots. I let the characters guide me through the writing process. There were times that I would be walking either to work or just walking, and I'd be talking to myself. And this was me taking the place of my character, me going through actions, and then I would take that and say, oh, there's something good, and put that into notes and let it sit for a bit, and later on put it into the story. So my stories are a stew of ideas.
Oh, so you don't even know how it's going to end when you conceive of a idea.
No. And that was the biggest problem when I was early writing. I didn't know how to end a story. I didn't know how to extend the story. I would go, okay, here's story 1. Okay, fine. I'd make chapter 2 a different story. Chapter 3 a different story. I'm like, no, this is not working. This is just a hodgepodge. Later on, when I set to seriously put the thing together, I decided to work on a flowing story with a beginning, action, and an end.
So Legatus Legion I has something in the chat. He says, I heard authors tend to write a part of themselves into their characters. Which one most resembles Raymond Janando, the space ace jockey?
I would say, yeah, I'm Janando.
Yeah,
I'm Jan. I'm Janando. As much as I like Tranando, Janando's been with me since the beginning. So yeah, he's probably most.
Oh, so from the beginning, from back in high school?
Yeah. In fact, Jan came. The character of Janando came way before his family did. So his family was an evolution of Jan.
And this was another question that I was given, but I'm not sure I even understand it. When did you begin collaboration with the Dolphin Wars team?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. The first, I actually met Michaela while I was taking drum lessons. She was going through college, and she worked the stand at the music store. So I was telling her about my book. She was going for an English degree, and she offered pro bono to edit All's Fair. So I said, if you want to do it for, if you want to
Wow.
do it with me, that's fine. So, so she edited All's Fair. She edited Peacemaker, but then she was getting ready to graduate college, so she had work there. She also had to get another job, so she left. She left the team for a bit, and I went to somebody else. And unfortunately, she was just very busy and couldn't really find the time. But fortunately, fortunately, Michaela came back and said, "Hey, do you want me to edit your book? I've got some time." And I said, "Sure." So she
Still
came
for
back.
free?
Well,
And
I had to help. I helped her out. I gave her.
okay, good. That's good at this point.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there
yeah.
was some compensation this time.
Yeah. So she's been the editor throughout the whole process. And the cover of All's Fair I got with Kindle. I got their Kindle stock cover, and it was okay, but and then I started talking to Fet for Hire, and that was probably the best decision I ever made. Fet, you are amazing. The cover for Peacemaker was absolutely magnificent. Anybody who's seen Fet for Hire's work knows what an amazing graphic designer he is. And he does everything for King Dolphin TV. He has done amazing the cover for Peacemaker was absolutely magnificent, and I can't say enough about Fet.
Did he do the covers for all 3 books?
He has done the cover for Peacemaker and the cover for Bloodfeud. He has done a cover for the 2nd edition of All's Fair. So yes, all 3 books will eventually have his mark on them.
Very cool.
In fact,
and that's great.
I will show you.
And yeah, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but
oh no,
a great cover can really spark an interest in a reader.
Yeah. In fact, let me go real quick, and I will get, for those who haven't seen Peacemaker.
Sure. And I'd also like to say hello to Lenrod in the chat. And also Sean Carter, who is also an artist. He makes models of ships.
All right. This is, let me bring this up. This is All's Fair using the Kindle stock cover. I got to get rid of that. These virtual black backgrounds. So this is All's Fair using the Kindle stock cover.
Yeah, we can do better than that.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And we have Fet for Hire's Peacemaker.
See, better.
Much better.
Much better.
Much better.
Well, see, that is much better because I knew about the dolphins, but there are orcas too.
Oh yeah, yes. The orcas are in here. Yes, I gave him the idea of the yin and the yang, using a dolphin and an orca.
Very creative.
So, yes, and he just went for it. So that was Fet's contribution. And then, as I explained earlier, the Graceli and I have been together as friends since really she's already a published author, and she had a book signing that happened to be my first one with All's Fair. And Graceli and Sandra started talking, and we decided to do another one. And it's been a friendship that's lasted quite some time, and I appreciate it. Graceli is a good friend. She's told me about book signings. I've told her about book signings.
That's the only way this works. You communicate and help each other out.
Exactly.
But this guy just kind of got double booked on my book signing. Yeah.
Oh, y'all were book signing the same day?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, the store double booked. So we're like, you know what? It's fine. We'll do this. And then we just started talking because what else are you going to do when you're sitting in the store?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, is that how y'all became friends?
Yeah. Yes.
It was the President's Day before COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Because I knew I had off from my day job that day. That's why I scheduled it.
Yep. I remember that. We did the book signing. Next thing you know, bam. And that shut down.
There's no book signings because there's no out in public.
Exactly.
And
but we
that's
stayed
incredible.
In touch.
Go ahead.
That's incredible.
But we stayed in touch.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, you please.
Oh, no. So we stayed in touch. And then when other things started coming up and the world started opening again, we made sure to get into things and go more signings.
Yep. We've gone through warm weather and cold. Oh, my God. That one. We had a book signing at a farmer's market, first part of April, one of the coldest days, and we're just freezing.
So windy.
Yeah, so windy.
And not in the fun windy way.
No, it was definitely.
It was cold.
It was cold. So,
but we are inside on Saturday. I checked.
Yes.
I need to know whether or not to bring a tent because the first Comic-Con I did there, we were outside in the courtyard.
Oh,
and
okay.
last year we were inside, and then this year we're inside.
Yep.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah,
when authors can collaborate and work together to help share each other's work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And you're going
because we're completely different genres, we're not competing. So
exactly.
Why not help each other out?
Yeah, definitely.
That's true. And so you're going to a book signing this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep, we are. I'll tell more about it later on, but yeah, we'll be at a Martinsburg Comic-Con. So again, as I explained earlier, after I said, I asked her, more begged her to help me out with the formatting, and it went well. There were some tweaks, but she was able to get it to. It's magnificent. It's magnificent.
Only because bad formatting bothers me.
Oh yeah, she beat me up.
Sounds like perfectionism is a good thing for formatting.
Yeah.
A good trait.
That's true. So.
And have you already shared all of your social media and websites in the stream and in the chat?
Unfortunately, I am arranging my own stream, but.
And you are. Yes, it's true.
So.
Very good.
Okay. So there is the Linktree address where you can go to the website. You've got my Facebook page, my Twitter. I believe I got my Twitter on there. And just as importantly, the access to King Dolphin TV, which I am using not only to bring other creators and people that do interesting things, but also to bring the word out on the Dolphin Wars books.
Yeah, you've got links to your website, YouTube, Twitter, how to contact you, purchase your books, and you've even got merch on Zazzle.
Yes, we have merchandise on Zazzle.
And a Facebook page. Wow, you've got everything.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, one of the things I realized, this was before I met Graceli, is when you self-publish, you are your own marketer, you're your own advertiser, and you're the guy that's got to put the books out, guy or gal that's got to put the books out there for people to see it. So I'm definitely learning about how to get the presence out there. And
it sounds like you learned a lot from her.
Yeah. And there's stuff I've discovered on my own, but it's Team Dolphin's been a very collaborative team. I'm proud to know every one of
them. Pudgy has a question.
Uh-oh. Let me guess.
No, it's actually slightly modified. Is there going to be a bake sale at Mr. Raymond's book signing? Pudgy hopes they have funnel cake.
I want funnel cake.
What was that, Graceli?
And now I want funnel cake.
Yeah, me too. I think they have vendors.
I think they said a coffee bar. There might be food trucks out there.
Yeah. I think there's going to have some sort of refreshments. I mean, it's going for about a 11 to 4. So it's going to probably make things tight for just because, but I'll make it work. But yeah.
It's an espresso bar.
Okay.
Espresso Bar Martinsburg will be selling delicious food and drinks at Libraries Plaza.
Oh, yummy. Yummy. Great.
Espresso. Where is this place? I know I'm nowhere near it.
But we're going to be in the library, the main branch. And then outside is where I did the first Comic-Con. It was really cool. Last year, they ended up doing their lightsaber wars out there. And it looks like this year, that's where they're going to put the food.
Okay. Yeah, last year they also had something from Jurassic Park. They had Jurassic Park Jeep.
They've got a lot of really cool events going on.
Yeah. And it looks like it's the only game in town instead of having to share with another event, which kind of cut down on people.
It kind of did both. Like it brought in more people because there were 2 big events downtown with people with varied interests. So it brought in a more diverse traffic. But I think that having them separate, because I'm actually doing both this year. I did Pride that last month because they did separate them, and it was a lot of fun. But
I noticed that people
we need library stuff.
Yeah, people that came in really didn't spend money. I from the event, and I'm like, okay, just buy my books, buy her books. He's across from me. Buy her books.
So y'all
they're on Kindle Unlimited. Just read them.
Yeah.
Y'all would be the only ones selling books this time.
I don't think so. I think there's other.
There's other authors there.
Oh, there will be other authors.
Craft vendors.
Yeah, artists.
There's a couple publishers that'll be there too.
Yeah, people who've been on
between 2 publishers.
Well, that's the place where you get a lot of the inspirations for your interviews, to find other creative people who want to share their work.
And I've done that. Most everybody who is there has been on. Well, I can't say most, but a good number of people have been on King Dolphin TV. So
I hope that the mental patient with Pudgy's cousin or whatever will be there again. There's this guy that walks around in a hospital gown with a little hedgehog, a little stuffed hedgehog. I assume they're related. We're going to get a picture this year.
Yeah.
You need to. That sounds fun.
It could be.
Pudgy needs to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pudgy needs to verify.
Yes. Or at least confirm it's not mere Pudgy.
Well, maybe that's why his person is in a mental hospital.
Ooh.
Oh, that's very creative.
Yeah. So
going back to that creative aspect, aside from aliens, the dolphins in your book, what other sci-fi elements do you have in your books?
Well, it's obviously it starts out with a war between Earth and Mars, all of the Expanse, but not quite. I think I came up with that before the Expanse came out. But yeah, it's an Earth-Mars war. And I'm going to try and keep All's Fair as spoiler-free as possible. But humans on Earth interact with a race of alien dolphins. And actually, they're not pure dolphins. There is something different in the dolphins that so the alien dolphins are a big science fiction element. I decided that I didn't want humanity to have faster than light travel because that been done everywhere else, and I wanted to be different. So I didn't want humans to have the faster than light travel. I left it to the aliens.
They do have, okay, so the aliens do have, they have to in order to make it to Earth to begin with, because we know that life not on Earth would be from very far away.
Right, exactly. And
so that's cool. I think that's a really great choice. That's also why I really love that the Orville doesn't have transporters for Earth or the Union, because that helps with the storytelling in terms of not having to push away the super powerful technology in order to have a conflict. So I think that was a good choice on your part to not have FTL.
And there is a lot of suspension of disbelief because, but I think I do it not to go overly crazy with the fantasy part of it.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. And that's really great to have an element of reality in it. Like you can feel that, like this is more of a near future.
Mm-hmm.
Near future if we happen to encounter alien dolphins. That is so cool.
Yeah. And this is a slight spoiler. I even in Peacemaker, I kind of changed the origins of Earth dolphins.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
so this wasn't their first visit.
No. And yeah, this is not the alien dolphin's first visit, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. You sent me the biography on all of the books when I asked for some of your promotional material, and it said you clarify that the progression towards utopia was halted by this war. Without spoiling anything, can you tell me whether any of these characters in your novel address this progress to utopia to any degree? Basically, would you say there is still hope enduring through these novels despite the war and destruction?
I'd say the second one probably did, because the Jan decides he decides he wants to raise a family, and he and try and get away from the death and destruction that happened in the first series, or the first movie.
That is really great. Family does seem to be a big theme in your books.
Yeah.
How big of a factor does Jan's clairvoyance play in the novels? Is it always foolproof, or can it be misinterpreted?
It can be misinterpreted. It can be jammed. He can lose total access to that ability. The only thing that he he can keep, even if he has lost the ability to be clairvoyant, he does keep his ability to recover from pain or injuries.
Oh, that's not the clairvoyance isn't the only power he has. He can heal himself?
Mm-hmm. They all can.
Oh.
They
Okay.
all
Like
can.
more than a normal human being.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Anything like Wolverine or what? What is the extent to this?
Okay. Okay, I don't think I'm spoiling this much, but if one of their own kind does damage to them, or like in Peacemaker, the orcas do damage to them, they can't recover. Everything else they can recover.
Oh, so they have
There are
some
limits.
kind of special weapons.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are limits to their healing ability.
That's interesting. Then I also read the promo for Bloodfeud, and after being shocked by the death of a pivotal character, something else disturbed me more. I
Okay.
haven't read all of the trilogy. I do plan on doing it, so if you haven't read it yet, it's not too late. Even the person interviewing these books needs to read it. So it's not too late for anyone to read it now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the dolphinwars.com. I'll bring
Yes.
up the website momentarily.
Yeah,
But
bring
go
up
ahead.
the website. But during our live readings of All's Fair, I learned that Tanya is not the most well-intentioned person, to say the least, and rather evil, to say more. But are you able to answer this question without spoilers? If not, don't worry, we can skip it. How is Tran still with this lady?
That is a good question. For one thing, if you've looked at the first part of All's Fair, you knew they didn't like each other at the get-go.
Right. Their moment of meeting was a slap or punch.
Yeah. Well,
She punched him out. So
yeah, so they didn't like each other at the get-go, and it's one of these opposites attract, and I think, despite the fact that she is not a nice person, the connection between the two is strong enough that he can deal with her being a psycho.
oh, and that's what you say by saying that she's a complicated character. She's not black and white. She's more of your gray area character.
Definitely shades of gray.
Those are usually the best characters. I also noticed that the promo says this is the finale of the Dolphin Wars saga. I realize the finality and the completion that word intends, but do you ever foresee going back to the universe like a spinoff?
Well, I will. I don't know if I'm going to go past the end of Bloodfeud. What I'm working on right now with Comic Relief Crusader is, and I'm still not overly sure if it's going to be a series or a graphic novel, but I'm going to do a graphic novel prequel of the story. So it's going to happen. I would, not to overly spoil it, but it does happen before the first Earth-Mars War that we see in the prologue.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I actually had no idea about that. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah. And it's my first attempt at, I don't draw comics. I am a lousy artist, but I've pretty much figured out how to take my prose into comic version, and I actually had someone as esteemed as Hungry Boy tell me that that's exactly how it should be. So
Oh wow! If you've got stamp approval from Hungry Boy, then you've got something going on because he actually worked in the industry,
Mhm.
which is why we can never know who his secret identity.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah, that's awesome.
So it may take. I agree. I agree, Lenrod. Yes, love can be blind.
Yeah, that seems the case here.
So
And at this point, I'm on the questions from the chat.
okay. Shall we start at the very beginning or start from the bottom and work our way up?
I actually copied them down as they were coming along. So
Okay.
I don't know if this one was a serious question, but I copied it down anyway. You call this Bloodfeud. When do the swords come out?
Oh gosh. There's actually, again, not this overly spoiler, but there is a knife fight, or I shouldn't say a knife fight, more like a one-sided disemboweling in this fight. So I would say that's probably the closest.
Wow, I didn't expect a real answer from that one. I just copied it down for fun. That's so cool that there was a good answer for that. Then we have, did you write with wanting each novel to be a certain length, or was it more a however many words, pages it took?
I think I wanted to go with a finite ending rather than worry about page and word count.
Okay, so you were more worried about getting the complete story rather than how long it was.
Right. I think Bloodfeud is over 200 pages. I forgot how much, but we'll find out after I unbox.
Yeah, story
right.
takes as long as it takes, because if you're too focused on how long your chapters are, how long the book is, you're going to miss out on something, or you're going to add filler that doesn't need to be there, and you might lose your audience.
True.
Oh, so
The book length is the book length.
You're narrowing it down even down to chapters. I would think you do want to have kind of a limit for chapters because you don't want the chapters to be too long. So do you have a limit for your chapters?
I don't. How about you, Graceli?
Not really. But I also do multi-perspective, so each chapter is a different person. So what they need to say needs to be said before I move on to the next one.
That's cool. That is like Game of Thrones, except you actually finish your novels.
Yeah. Well, I'm only at 4 out of like 20, but we're getting there.
But you're working.
Yeah.
So, this one says self-promotion. Does that include wearing Dolphin War merch tee when you are doing your public drumming with your groupie Sandra, taking pictures?
I have not worn a Dolphin Wars shirt while drumming, but I definitely wear them during book signings.
And that question was by Goddess Legionai.
Of course.
Merch is fun. Vista Print's awesome for that. Get mugs, use them for the pens at your book signings.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say goodbye to Maddie's daddy. He's got to go get Maddie.
Take care of Maddie's daddy.
Bye. And hello to Dad Man Walking 55.
Hey, Dad Man. Welcome. Good to see you.
And Legatus asks, of all the nations and places you could have picked for the location of the Ando family, why did you pick the one you did?
Ooh, that is a good one. Oh boy. I'd like to say that I'd like to say that there was probably a rather profound reason, but I think it just, for me, it felt right. Again, when I created Tran, Tran is a Vietnamese name, and then I started doing research into Vietnam, and I found that that it actually worked quite well. I mean, the islands around it were pretty suitable for a reclusive yet wealthy family. So, and I've always, I've done a lot of reading of Vietnam. The Vietnam War was probably my second interest, as opposed to World War II. So I knew enough about Vietnam to be interested in it, and I decided to say, I decided that, okay, they've started making peace with the United States in the 90s. Let's see how it would have gone a couple centuries later. So that's why I decided to go with Vietnam as the home of the family.
Oh, that is a creative choice. I didn't realize that you chose that because of its history. That is a good reason.
Yeah. And Tel Aviv is also a big part of it too.
That plays into a question that I had later after I finished the chat questions. Okay. Were any parts of your book inspired by the places you've traveled throughout your life, or was it more through research?
The more through research and a lot of the culture, because I'm Jewish, so a lot of the culture, a lot of what I knew, I've projected onto a lot of my characters.
And they do say to write what you know, so that's a smart idea. This one is just a funny comment by Phantom Outsider. At King Dolphin TV, come on, Snoopy told us all about the Dolphin Wars onesie you wear around the house when Sandra isn't home. and so
hey, how are you getting into my closet, Phantom?
Can we really trust Snoopy, who's breathing heavy like a creeper in the background?
I know.
You know what? That was one of my questions, but I cut it out. It was going to be, how much interference did Snoopy have towards creating these novels?
When he wants his cow ear and his food, no, he wasn't big. He wasn't interfering.
Did he inspire anything?
Although
that's a good question.
Say again?
Was Snoopy an inspiration at all in any of the books?
No, we actually the book All's Fair was written before he came into the picture.
Makes sense. The Goddess Legionary says, I think Jill is suggesting Raymond has traveled to Mars and beyond. That's funny.
Who could tell? Who could tell?
And Pudgy has a question. How many books need to be sold so Mr. Raymond gets cheesecake?
Ooh. Probably a lot. So if you want to help my cheesecake habit, please buy some books.
Did you see the flyer I sent you from Everything Cheesecake?
No.
They got white chocolate strawberry on Saturday.
Oh.
And blueberry muffin.
Ooh, we're there.
Field trip.
Yes, field trip.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does.
So Legatus Legion I also asks, with the prequel being more about the conflict between the Ocom and the Akai, and why Barrett visited Earth?
The prequel is not going to involve him too much because I went into him a lot in Peacemaker, and I also do dwell on him a bit in Bloodfeud. So I think I have pretty much done what I could with Verrett, but we shall see.
Wow, that was a really good question. And let's see what else we have here. I got a little lost. Okay, and then Legatus Legion also asks, now that the Dolphin Wars trilogy is completed, what will your next series trilogy be? The Adventures for Cow Ears?
That would be a good one. Snoopy can write that one. Cow Ears, a Snoopy perspective.
He's using you for ghostwriting.
Yeah.
So, did you model any of your fictional characters' attributes after real people you know?
Not really. There is a running joke in the pod that Sandra's been asked if she is the model for Tanya, and she said, "Oh hell no."
I would never suggest that.
No.
Wow.
No.
Me neither.
Yeah. I think I would.
Only read a little bit of it. No.
No, Sandra's.
But any past girlfriends?
There's one that has a possibility, but no, she's totally a character creation of my own.
So, you already answered this question for me earlier. It was what comes first, the plot or the characters? But you told me already. It's the characters.
Yeah.
So I know that one. What part of the trilogy was the most fun to write?
Actually, Bloodfeud. The way I took pieces of the shambles of Peacemaker, because there are shambles as a result of Peacemaker, and made it into a fitting climax. I mean, yeah, it took a long time, but I think the product, I'm proud of it. I really am.
And Legatus Legionai says, this is a repeat of an earlier one. Self-promotion, does that include wearing Dolphin War merch when you're doing... Oh, okay. I did read this one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did.
And you did answer it.
Mm-hmm.
That you wear it during book signings, but not while drumming. Not yet. Now you're going to wear it while you're drumming.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I think I will.
Right?
Yeah.
How much research did you need to do for your books?
Actually, a lot. As I was going through them, because I knew for the military part, I knew Air Force, but for some reason, I didn't think Air Force was a good fit. I know people have said, why do you want to do another Navy novel or Starfleet novel or blah, blah, blah. And I said, unfortunately, it does. The Navy does fit more with the space environment. I mean,
it does.
Now that the Space Force is out there, that may change things, but it actually didn't come around until I've already written All Spheres, so I went with the Navy. But really having to learn, I had to research a lot about the Navy, their rank structure, naval aviation, that type of stuff. I did research on dolphins, and I will tell you this: in my research of dolphins are a randy bunch.
They, to me, they're essentially very much like us. You can find one who is a sweetheart and one who will murder you in your sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they are definitely randy. So
They're pretty incredible.
yeah, they are.
They're my second favorite animal next to elephants.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is your favorite animal? What is your favorite animal?
Mine. Outside of the dogs and the ferrets, I would say I have grown to the point where dolphins are my favorite animal.
Well, yeah, I agree. I do enjoy the animals who are with us on that intellectual level. If we could talk to them, it would
Mm-hmm.
be really amazing.
Yep. Back in the day, I liked penguins, but it evolved to having dolphins.
Mhm. And Legatus Legionary has another question. For other potential authors out there, does one have to be good in school, English and writing, or just having a story and a will to do it mean more to the writing process?
Well, I'm going to answer that. I'm going to ask Graceli to answer the same thing. My thing is have the story and the will. I mean, the English and writing, I guess it helps in the presentation, but to me, got to have the story, got to have the characters. What about you, Graceli?
Yeah, you can't have anything if you don't have a story to work with. That's what editors are for. If you don't feel like your words are coming across the way you want them to, hire an editor.
Yeah.
But they can't write the story for you. All they can do is tweak it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good idea. These questions can be for both of you. How do you celebrate when you finish your book?
Sleep.
Yeah. Sleep
It's high adrenaline on the last few days or weeks coming to putting it out there, and it's just exhausting. And at that point, you're sick of your story because you've reread it a million times.
Yeah. And the bad thing with me is in the nights that I'm sleeping and my thoughts race, the last thing I want to do is think about work or other things. And I'm like, okay, how do I get myself back into focus so I can try and sleep? I usually by default go into story writing mode. I've written a lot of my stories by putting them in my mind while I'm trying to sleep. So yes, it's exhausting because they're like in my characters, my stories are in my brain all the time.
Constant companions.
Mm-hmm.
The last two that I finished, I also celebrated by saying, okay, you guys are done. You go over here now. I'm going to go work on someone else.
Well, that's good if you have some kind of command over them.
Sometimes you don't. And like, I want to work on these characters right now. And then somebody else starts getting talky in my head and I have to work on their stories instead.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of your plot lines come from your dreams?
Not so much my dreams, much more my talking to myself and play acting the plots in my head.
And Legatus Legionary has another one here for both of you. Will all the feedback, both positive and negative and constructive, an author can get, how do you handle it and put it to good use?
Well, being the victim of a lot of Legatus's feedback, I say with the greatest respect, I've taken it in the spirit he's given it to me, and I've used it to make things better.
And Grace?
I actually weirdly don't get a lot of negative feedback. I don't know why, because I know that there's errors and whatnot in there. The most constructive I get is, why didn't you explore this avenue with this character? Or I wish you would have done this instead. But I've also learned that opinions are just that. And if it's a good idea and I want to run with it and explore something, I will. But I'm never going to write enough to make everybody happy and cover everything that they want to see. But I love the fact that what I write and put out there makes them want more.
Yeah, that's great feedback that you get if they wanted you to do something more with it. Anytime I want more, I know I read or watched something great.
Yep.
Rotapupus Cuber says, "What is Jan Ando's favorite cookie?"
Oh my goodness! Snort asked this instead of Pudgy. Wow.
Like, that's the wrong person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. What would be Jan Ando's favorite cookie? I think he's going to be an oatmeal and raisin person.
Wow.
I think that would be an oatmeal. He'd be an oatmeal raisin person.
And Ligatus has another one. Talking about dreams, do you dream of Dolphin Wars trilogy in live action, animation, etc.? Have any specific actor or actresses for various roles? That was one of my later questions. Good job.
Yes, I've thought about it. I don't know if I have not seen Gal Gadot is the obvious choice for Tanya, as long as she can play her like a psychopath. And I have not seen her in a role where she could play a maniacal person.
She's an extremely talented lady. I believe she could.
Yeah. Let's see. Jan and Tran. I haven't thought so much about Jan and Tran. I would probably put Tran is probably, and only because I don't know a lot of Vietnamese actors, I would probably put Daniel Day Kim from Hawaii Five-0 as Tran. Jan, I don't know. Who I would put.
Mm-hmm. That'll be a problem for when producers come clamoring for the rights to make a movie out of your book.
Yeah, that's one thing. The very first thing I did with every one of my stories, including the covers, is I went to copyright. Now, I want my rights. There is a story I heard on the Fighter Pilot podcast. I don't know how many. There's an author called Stephen Coombs. He does the military techno thrillers. He did a book called The Flight of the Intruder back in the 80s. And he had been trying to write, he'd been trying to take get it published. So he went to the Naval Institute. They published it, but they also took the rights. And then what they did is they ended up making a movie out of it, which with Willem Dafoe, and I forgot who played the lead character, and Rosanna Arquette was in it. And I'm like, it was okay, but why did you end up making a love story out of it? And so I'm very skeptical on what Hollywood would do with my stories.
That's good.
I definitely don't want the rat having its paws on it.
Okay, so no Disney for sure.
No Disney.
And
no
I'm glad
Disney.
You got your standards.
Yes, no Disney. I think that I also think the story does tend to be too dark for Disney.
And hey, you finished the trilogy, so they can't just screw up the source material and make it play whatever way they want because it's not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe if I win the lottery and decide to go independent, that might be the route to go.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. You can make your own movie.
Yeah.
Sort of Poopus Cuber says, I'm more of a music person. I love a good movie soundtrack. Who should write the score to the trilogy?
My first impression would be John Williams, but I also like William Goldsmith, if I said that right.
Oh, yeah, Goldsmith. I would vote for Goldsmith myself. Great. And do we have any other questions in the chat? Let's see. There's one from Legatus Legionai. If animated, would it be more Western cartoon or more like anime? As the story / Ando family is more Eastern based?
Anime. I know Santa will throw something at me if she were here, but I like anime, and I do think that would the story would fit more into the anime. In fact, I asked Comic Relief Crusader when he's doing his drawings to draw them manga style. In fact, I have a couple of pictures of Tran and Tanya that he's drawing. They came out really good.
Oh yeah, do you have a folder of this? Can you share?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah, let me go. Let me first share the website. I don't know why this is doing this. Go away.
And Cobalt says, no, Mirror Pudgy. Mr. Raymond cannot use body count as the soundtrack.
I don't know who that is, Mirror Pudgy. Okay, let me.
Oh, Snorta Poopus Cuber says, sadly, Goldsmith is gone. He would have been a good choice. I was going to look that up myself. I didn't remember if we'd lost him or not yet. We have.
Okay, here is the website.
But someone a really good musician can listen to Goldsmith and maybe come up with something inspired by that work.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Give me a moment.
Well, yes. Oh, I do love that the nebula kind of does look like a dolphin. How did that happen?
Fett found it.
Oh, he found it. That's great. I love it. I didn't notice it at first. It's slightly abstract. It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Where are you? I know I got it. Well, I'm going to have to go to Twitter. Comic Relief Crusader.
Oh, and Cobalt clarifies, FYI, Body Count is a metal band with Ice-T as the singer. And this is news to me that Ice-T was in a metal band. That's really cool.
Okay. Okay. Come on, where is it?
I wanted to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to test my interviewing skills out for the.
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing great. I decided I wanted to try something new and different, and since your channel is doing amazing stuff, I thought maybe try out interviewing.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Legatus Legionai gives us another question. Anime, hand-drawn movie, or the more current move to computer-generated animation?
Hand drawn.
That's a quick answer. There was no question there.
I don't like CGI. I really don't. Okay, that is Comic Relief Crusaders. I don't know I can't find the pictures that he sent me with Tanya and Tran. I'll have to look at them. But that's his initial drawing of Tanya.
Oh, wow. Concept art.
Yeah, concept art.
Revealed.
Yes, and I'm an anime fan and manga fan, and that's why I thought this would probably suit them. And then Tran, I wish I had the good pictures.
That's really great. That'll expand your reader base too, to have a comic book for your series.
And of course, there are twists. I'm already planning the patented Feliciano plot twists already. And that's Tran.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So.
Coming soon.
Yeah, eventually.
Drop off comics.
Yes. All right. Now it could be too long to go into right now about Sandra's issues with
I was going to read that next. What's her problem with anime?
Yeah, she really has some issues with it. But let's see.
We need her here for that one, probably.
Yes.
Legatus Legionai.
That's a whole different interview.
Yes, that is.
Sandra Feliciano, what is your problem?
And the paper airplane comes flying at me.
Legatus Legionai says, when it came to writing, how much influence and support from family and friends helped or hindered the process?
Well, Sandra helped a lot. She's in the dedication. She's my muse, and she's been really supportive of my writing. And she's done the first. She actually took the first editing of All's Fair, and the very first thing she did is saying, "Get these damn apostrophes right." She is a grammar Yahtzee, and she if there's an apostrophe in the wrong spot, she just blows up.
She took you to school.
She took me to school a lot.
Nice.
She do that with commas too?
Yes. Yeah, she did it with commas too. So.
Yeah, I've often considered inviting people to my channel for interviews, but I haven't asked anyone yet. So this was a really neat chance for me to give it a try.
And you're doing quite well.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you're doing quite well.
I should have come up with questions for you though, Grace.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But I can answer the last one. My husband actually edited my first book too. So that was really awesome. Him and the boys are in every single acknowledgement section on the books because my husband is amazing. He knows when to give me space to work on the books and not disturb and keep the kids out of the way. There was a lot of Pokemon Go back in the day to keep them out of the house when they were younger. Both of my kids have given a lot of inspiration to one of the young characters in the book series. And they get really embarrassed. But I'm like, yeah, remember that thing you said when you were 2? It's now immortalized. Melly says it all the time.
Oh, that's really that's really lovely when your family can play a part.
I like that.
And I was using something from one kid, and he's like, well, why don't you use whatever the other one used to say? I'm like, okay. And I wrote a whole scene around that. But then they asked me why nobody has any pets in the books. So now I have to think about that.
That'd be interesting. So.
Because they're in college and nobody's home.
Yeah.
But the 4-year-old could have a cat. She needs a cat now.
All right. Well, anyone want to see the book?
Duh, that's why we're here.
Unboxing.
Yes, the unboxing. Here is the box.
No sharp objects required.
No sharp objects required. Let's see. Let's put it up. Yeah, let me do it over here. Yeah.
So
Very
for
cool.
people, yeah, that is very cool. For people just listening and and for people who are not able to see it, this is that Jupiter?
That is Jupiter.
And so then we have Jupiter, and then we have what looks like a nebula, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 or 9 dolphins.
Yeah.
Swimming across.
I did on my webpage. I did on my blog. I did a quiz to see how many dolphins are on the cover. And of course, Legatus came up, and he's over there. He counted the ones in the nebula, and there are 2 more in this cover.
Oh, are they in the pattern of Jupiter itself?
Yeah, it's right.
Very cool.
It's right there.
Yep, I saw that one.
And then, of course, he cheated and said, "Oh, dolphin." The word dolphin.
The word dolphin is also a dolphin.
Yeah. And then
it sounds like he got the answer right.
Yeah, but
there's a bonus dolphin. So how many dolphins are on your book?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you do the words, it's probably about 12. 12 dolphins. This guy was going to be on the cover, the front cover, with the little bloody tear. But I like what Fett did with this.
And you were still able to use that artwork for the back cover.
Amazing.
That is great.
Yeah. So there he is.
But why is your name on there twice?
I knew someone was going to catch it. Kindle.
Oh, right, because you had issues with the cover.
With the cover, yeah. The cover, going with the raw cover, Kindle would not let me expand the size. No matter what Fett did, it would not take the size. So I went with their standard cover creator. And I pulled it, thought I got rid of all the extraneous text. It didn't, but I kind of like this effect. I fixed for subsequent hard copies. I kind of like this effect.
Yeah, and that makes the first run even more special.
Yeah. So, and great formatting. Thank you, Graceli. And the page count doesn't reset. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! So there is Bloodfeud.
Oh, hooray! How many pages is this book?
Yes, we can check the page count because it's right.
285.
Nice. That's a great link.
Yeah.
Snortopoopas Cuber says, which one is my copy?
One is already set for you, Snort. I've got quite the pre-order. I got quite the pre-order ready to go. We'll probably start working out the details on shipping and handling. It's going to be right now. It's probably about. Kindle changed the print costs, so I know what I've got in the book, but for autograph copies, I'm not sure yet. Oh,
Legatus Legion I has a question. Amazon does not show the white name of the author on the front cover. Does that mean those in your hands are special editions?
Yes. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, Legatus. Only good for this run. Subsequent ones will have the red name.
Yeah, these are the collector's items.
These are the
edition.
collector's items. Yes, yes. But other than that, I mean, it looks great. The cover is fantastic. And of course, you're all gonna love the story.
Yeah.
So chill. When are you buying your copies?
Pretty soon. I need to get them in hardcover. I have the Kindle editions of the first two, but I still need to get Bloodfeud. But I do love physical books too, so I've definitely got to get some signed copies for myself.
I'll let you. Yeah. Again, go to if you've got Twitter, you could Twitter me. If you've only got email, you could email via the Dolphin Wars here. Let me.
Oh, and also, since you do have a trilogy, have you decided whether you want to plan to set out to make sets, like a set where you can buy all three at once with like a little box to put them in?
Possibly. I may also. I'm now that Kindle has got the option to make a hardcover book. I'm considering that, but I got to see how much that's gonna run. But yeah, a box set would be great.
I love the hardcovers. They make it just feel so real and professional.
Have you?
Yeah, all of my books are in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle.
Okay. And you're releasing a book too, Grace. This you're going to have a book signing this weekend with Raymond?
Yeah, I'm going to the signing, but I don't think I'm actually releasing a book this year. I'm just trying to get out there more and be seen. Because I've got 4. It's a good start. I've been putting out 1 a year, but there's just a lot of upheaval in life right now. So I'm working on the social part that I suck at, and the writing will come. I have too many different characters, and I don't know who I want to focus on right now.
And there's where you can send an email to order your copies.
Okay. This is how you get a signed copy. You have to go to your contact page.
Yeah. I've thought about doing the point of sale, but I've checked, and GoDaddy does cost a lot. And since I've got PayPal, and I can do Square.
Square has a thing that you can scan QR codes now and do payment over the web.
Okay.
I haven't looked deeply into it, but it is a thing they're doing now.
Okay. And I have PayPal. So right now I have PayPal. We can do Square if someone feels safe enough putting it here. But we'll figure it out. We'll get you copies.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
Snortopoopas Cuber says I only buy physical books. I like the heft of them. Plus, if someone annoys me while reading, I can throw the book at them.
Yep.
And yeah, I do agree with that. And I
Mhm.
only get Kindle books out of convenience, but I realize the danger is that someone can go in there and edit material that is not their own
Yeah.
potentially, and that's not cool.
There are books I'm getting on Kindle. Yeah. Because it's a one when you've maxed out every possible bookcase and then you have boxes full of books. It's kind of tough to keep buying books. I've got books everywhere. In fact, we've got a bookcase that we have to put together because one bookcase that we own is starting to fall apart. And the last thing I need is a stampede or an avalanche of books.
No, that's not good for the books either.
No.
Lenrod has a question. Any plans for audiobook versions?
I have actually thought about that. Radio Kingdom, I tried experimenting with Jill. We did the using Radio King Dolphin as an experiment. We've done some reads of chapters of the books of All's Fair, and I thought it went well. Jill?
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. Although I'm not a professional voice actor, I enjoyed it very much.
And I think that if I do that, I like to get away from doing a professional voice acting and probably doing it independent with people I know, such as Jill, and but that's still
And Tiger Stripes, if we can get her back.
I know. I've tried.
And also, hello to Agent Pepsi One in the chat.
Hi, Agent Pepsi One. Thank you for coming in. Hope you've enjoyed the unboxing. Lenrod. I have your name on the list already. Like I said, I've already got this box. There's 20 in here. Hopefully, between pre-orders and the Comic-Con, it's going to be down to I'll already have to do the ordering. Very soon after, depending on how many signings we've got.
Yeah, don't mail out anything until after you do the signing on Saturday. That way you have on hand what you need.
Yeah, well, what I'm doing is I've got a certain amount. I am not going to go any more than my remaining copies of All's Fair and Peacemaker. Since I've got 3 books, I can keep the amount of books the same. I mean, it'd be great if I sold them all and had a waiting list at the Comic-Con, but you've been to them where it's been feast or famine.
Yeah.
So,
like last weekend, nothing.
Yeah.
I hope you guys sell lots of books this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, same question to Grace. Have you considered audiobooks?
I get asked a lot about that. I need to look into it and figure it out because my husband has this amazing speaking voice. He refuses to listen to himself recorded, but he's amazing. So he's like, I'll do it once we figure out the logistics of it. Just don't make me listen to it afterwards. And then because they're multi-perspective, I have another friend, a female, who is going to do all the ladies' voices for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to even get started on audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think we made a good start when we did our readings. But I think we need to probably, if we do if we do a collaboration on it, Jill, I think we probably need to find more people than us so we don't kill ourselves.
Yes, also, and so that more characters have different voices.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So, okay.
Ligata says Jill rules while Snoopy drools.
Yes, no, Snoopy does drool. Yeah, he hasn't moved at all. I think all we see is his feet right there. So, all right. Well, Jill, I am honored to be your first interview, and you did a great job.
Thank you. I had a good time, and you had really amazing answers. It's really interesting when you're able to answer all of these questions so well in such a natural way, and so it made the interview process really easy.
And thank you, Graceli, for coming on and helping out as part of the Team Dolphin.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you, Grace, and also thank you to the editor named
Michaela Hurd.
Michaela, and also Fed for Hire for the illustrating.
Yes, the amazing Fed for Hire. So.
And also for the chat, for all the great questions.
Yes.
And comments, and discussions, jokes. Some of them maybe that I didn't get to read.
Legatus has a good last. It's like Raymond has had years to prepare for his first and long-awaited interview. Well, this
isn't your first interview, is it?
No, it's not. But again, this is how King Dolphin TV got started. It's like I tried to get on interviews. I had.
Who else interviewed you? Were they on YouTube?
Yeah, they're on YouTube. There was a book promoter who was my first. And that was like a 5-10 minute interview. Not a lot of questions. And then I had author Stephen Walton do a interview as part of a panel instead of a one-on-one. Let's see, Mark D with a C.
Oh, wow, Mark.
Did a one-on-one. Maria with T and Telly. So I'd say I've done about 5-6. Doomcock has been. We talked. I was on Pop Culture Breakdown, talking about.
Oh yes, I remember that. That was great. Really cool.
So this is the first. This is probably the second one. The longer. Mark D's was long, and Maria with T with Telly was long, but this one is probably, I like this one better.
But I want to go listen to Mark's. I bet it was really good.
Mark D with a C was good too. Yeah, and it's still on there if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
My first official interview was here.
Yeah.
Oh, and you've had more after that.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly just on here at the Pride event I did last month. There was this very boisterous woman that came through and was interviewing everybody. I don't know where it ended up. She didn't leave any contact information, but it was fun. But I probably wouldn't have been able to engage with her had I not had practice through this show.
Well, thank you, Graceli.
And since we are celebrating authors today, Stream Elements wants you to remember to go to Pudgy Adventures at pudgyadventures.com.
Yep, and now he's got a YouTube channel.
Oh, really? Do we have a link? I need to update my list.
Let's see. It's on the. If you go to. No. Go to the show more. And I think yep, there it is. Here. No. Of course, Legatus beat me to it, but there you go. There's Pudgy's YouTube channel now.
I will have to share that with Katie.
Yeah. Yes.
He gets excited anytime I'm streaming the show and he hears Pudgy.
Yep. And he says, "Yay!" Pudgy says, "Yay!" Yep. So, yeah. So, Jill.
Cool.
Yep. Jill, I'd like to thank you for being a good sport and a great interviewer.
Yes, you're welcome.
And
this was a lot of fun. So, it was a fascinating insight into the process of a really great author with an incredible imagination.
Thank you. And two of us.
Yeah, two authors,
yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Oh, this is Raymond's show. It's about his book release.
My show, my rules. Hashtag DolphinWars.com. So, yes, please, if you are interested in the books, go to the DolphinWars.com to put out your requests. We are on Kindle. And please put reviews. Reviews will finally help me promote the book.
If you get 25 reviews on Amazon, they will start promoting for you.
Okay.
Oh, really? That is how it works? The more reviews, the better.
Yes. So please review.
And even if you don't like leaving reviews, at least leave a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's right there. It pops up right there at the end of the Kindle reading. It's like, boom. Easy.
Yep. Easy peasy. So, okay. Jill, this is still your show, so I'm going to leave it your choice. Should we go to show notes or just call it a night?
Show notes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, of course, this is your channel. I'm happy to be able to interview.
What? I don't know, Legatus. What's the cost for just an off? I'm so appreciative that people are buying the books. I'm not overly willing to charge extra.
Yeah, I think it's weird how people get so excited about the autographs. I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, I don't mind personalizing the books.
Yeah. But for the most part, they don't usually ask for them to be personalized. And when they do, they're pretty forward about it. They're like, my name is, like, okay, sure, I can do that.
No, fam.
Yes.
Eventually, King Dolphin TV will market the Dolphin Wars branded onesies in all sizes up to polar bear. I don't have enough.
And it could have a dolphin fin on the back of it.
Yeah. I don't have enough cloth or yarn here to make it that big. And Agent Pepsi 1 says, I would love to have a book that's personally autographed by the author. It's something special. Well, okay. I don't mind. I don't mind. So, all right. It's been asked. I know there's some that won't, but here we go. Actually, I need to bring up the calendar.
Because we got to know what's going on with this channel coming up next.
Yep. So, Jill, tell us what's coming up next on your channel while I'm doing this.
Oh, okay. So I do have a channel of my own where my goal is to celebrate all of the really great science fiction. Right now it's only TV and movies, but I do love reading as well. So I do want to figure out how to integrate some books as well eventually. Maybe I'll start reading chapters doing mini reviews. I'm not sure yet. However, for now, on Tuesdays, I'm going over Star Trek, the original series, with my steady co-host, pop culture curator, and Scotty R37. Sometimes I have other guest hosts, special guests for that show too. So, if you have a good microphone and internet connection and would like to make an appearance, please let me know on Twitter at Antiderivative1. These reviews are very in-depth, but on Fridays, I have a much more laid-back review show where we just celebrate the movie or show, and sometimes I'll talk about some real-life science or whatever I like in terms of science news that week. On other occasions, I have a gaming stream or open talk streams on random nights that are only announced as soon as I decide to make them. And so thank you again for allowing me to be part of sharing the great news about the release of Bloodfeud.
And there's your channel. And of course, you're on Saturday Night Star Trek.
Yes, if you want to find me on Saturdays, on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Central, I will be in the chat on Clobberin Times channel with where he and Raquel Briggs, first officer, will review all of real Star Trek from 1966 to 2005, and currently they just started Voyager, so this is a lot of fun. A great way to spend your Saturday, because even though I'm mostly only in the chat, except for at the end of the season where I'm on the panel, even though you're in the chat, you get to review the show and they read your reviews, and that's really fun.
Yep. And don't forget to wet your whistle beforehand. We got Just Cuz, the place where anything can happen, usually does, and there's eclairs. And thus, we will get started with my show notes.
Well, also margaritas too, right?
Yes.
Yes, margaritas are at my table.
Share it with Wendy.
Yes, I'm at the cool kids table.
The cool kids table, yeah. I hate that. It's kind of getting.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes with Mr. Raymond and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. Dun.
Dun. All right, show notes for what's coming up for the rest of the month. We, like I said, this Saturday we're going to have the Martinsburg Comic-Con episode. Hopefully, I'll have some pictures from it. I'm still shooting for a 5:00 showtime. It may get drug a bit depending on what time we get home from the con. A week from today, we're going to have a friend of mine. Her name is Erin Crenshaw. She is a flight attendant. So I've brought pilots on before. It's time to bring on flight attendants to show what's been going on in the life of a flight attendant, both pre and post 9/11. On August 2nd, we're going to have Margaret Saving Grace Bully Rescue in the same mode as us talking about the bunny rescue. We're going to be talking about pit bull rescues. Oh, and ferret rescues. But yes, we'll be talking about pit bull rescues on the 2nd. On the 9th, we're going to have Janet from Another Planet on, and we'll talk. And on the 16th, we're going to have Hungry Boy, the amazing Hungry Boy. We're going to talk about prog rock, one of my favorite music genres. And of course, every Saturday we have Just Cuz, and unless I've got away missions on Saturdays, in which we'll have them on Sundays. Agent Pepsi 1 is still trying to get Steven to do an interview. Great. I would love to talk to him. And Legata said, cool. Fit for Hire got his Metalhead YouTube channel back. Yay. 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 Good.
Oh, and when promoting my channel, I forgot to mention on Tuesday I review the original series Star Trek at around noon Central, and the next episode we're reviewing is a very big, important Spock episode. It's Journey to Babel.
Ooh, that is a good
Or
one.
Babel, excuse me.
Babel.
I always say it different.
Yeah, let me see. No, it's up there. And okay, where is it? I'm trying to bring up Graceli's channel. I know Legata's put it out there. But
Yes, I did see it. I copied it down into my
Yeah.
list.
Okay.
List here. It was your link tree at the
Yes.
back Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You want to tell us about yours? Your
I don't
stories?
have a channel. I'm not cool like that.
Okay.
I did go downstairs and get the hardcovers.
Ooh. Well, that's a hardcover? Oh, nice.
That's a hardcover. I did do them bigger, and I formatted the insides differently so that the font's bigger, so that they're still about the same amount of pages.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
And
Wow.
I did all of them. So that's book 2, book 3,
Awesome.
and book 4.
Nice.
It's a new adult drama series that is based out of, it's on 2 coasts. In the first book, oh, I wasn't ready for this. Okay. So it's a group of friends that are either connected to Valesianders College, a fictional place that I made up, or they either take place there or the people are connected to it. In the first book, it's the people in California and helping her get through an abusive relationship and moving on from there. The second book actually takes place on the other coast in an area like this one, but of course fictional because we don't want to get yelled at if I make any mistakes. But the third book brings all the characters together. And the fourth book is actually a shorter, it's a novella, and it ties up loose ends from books 2 and 3.
Great.
Because the main characters in the second and third books are twin sisters.
Okay. Agent Pepsi 1 asks, loves the color. Graceli, are you a photographer?
I am not. I actually got them from Pexels and other free images. Upsplash, I think is the other one. My editor was the one that pushed to help me find them to rebrand and remarket.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that is show notes.
This segment is brought to you by the DolphinWars.com. It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. With Mr. Raymond and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. Dun, dun.
Okay, let's see if this will happen without the ghosting that we get on Just Cuz. Okay. Well, everybody, it was great to... I don't know if Jill's got the list of names or people who are here in the chat or...
I don't have a list, but I can thank Agent Pepsi 1, Snortopupus Cuber, the Goddess Legionai, and I can scroll up. Lenrod, Pudgy, Hedgehog Adventures. I know Dalek 451 was also here. Let's see. And oh no, there's a phone ringing. I have to mute and go.
Okay, I'll keep on. Yeah. We had Dalek 451. We had John Rendo. We got us Legionai. We had Lenrod. We had Pudgy Hedgehog. We had Stark of Iron. We had Agent Pepsi 1. We got Cobalt Bald Eagle. We've got Dad Man Walking, Maddie's Daddy, and Nighthawk, and SP4H. And Yes, I know he's last, but definitely not least. We can never forget about the amazing bear. Slaughter Pupas! QBar.com. Hey, King Dolphin TV is not the same without me. I'm the star. Buy DolphinWars.com. So, yes, please go on to the DolphinWars.com and get your book. As we say here, Christmas came early, so definitely get ready to prepare for your gift list. Birthdays, bar mitzvahs, Christmas, whatever, Hanukkah, whatever. The books are there. Just let me know and we'll get them to you. Graceli, thank you for everything.
Welcome.
It's been a pleasure. And Jill, I was honored to be a guest on your little show.
Yeah, thank you again for allowing me to be part of the great news of releasing Bloodfeud. I hope everyone sees what great fun they can have reading your trilogy, and I'm sure we all can't wait to see what you achieve next with the prequel and everything.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Order the books now so it'll arrive in time for Christmas. Legatus, are you trying to tell me something? They're here. It's a full box. So, all right, everybody.
Hold on.
Yeah. So, thank you again, Jill. Thank you, Graceli. And we'll go to the green room and see how this went. Everybody, we'll see you Saturday. It will be a Semper Gumby because hopefully I'll get home in enough time to start at 5:00. So,
And don't forget to, if you go to see Overlord DVD Doomcock tonight, to do a King Dolphin raid.
yes, do a King Dolphin raid at Pop Culture Breakdown. Yes. Dalek was here. He couldn't miss it. Night all. Thank you, Dalek. And Pudgy says, bye, everyone. Yep. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
This segment is brought to you by the Dolphin Wars